Welcome to the Lost Interviews with Ray Shaw Show.
Hello, Pat.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
Oh, good. Okay, cool.
So, where are you calling from today?
From over near Fort Myers.
Oh, you're in Fort Myers. Cool. You're pretty close then.
Yeah, not too far away.
Yeah. So I think you live in Maui now. Is that where you call home?
That's right.
How's it like in Hawaii?
It's kind of like it is here usually, except it's a little bit cool here today. But
Is it too cold for you?
no, it's nice actually, but it's cooler than
Yeah, well, it's a nice change. I've been living here now for about 8 years, and it's I came from D.C. originally, and I kind of miss that kind of weather every once in a while because it's you just don't see the changes in seasons here, and all of a sudden Christmas comes. It comes up on you way too soon.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I just talked to Todd Rundgren a couple of weeks ago, and he's out in Kauai.
Yeah.
So,
same deal there.
Yeah, pretty cool. So you guys ready to rock out on Sunday?
Absolutely.
At the Citrus Bowl. Should be a really cool event.
That's what we do. We rock out.
And if it wasn't for all the Bob Seger loving Michiganites, you guys could have probably headlined this deal.
Everybody's a headliner.
Yeah, that's true. We got so many, I'm in Sarasota. We got so many guys here, people from Michigan here. It's unbelievable. I think there's more Michiganites here than the locals,
Well, we're all Bob Seger fans.
I got an interesting story to tell you before I go on to a couple of questions for you. The last time you guys played in Sarasota, you played the Van Weasel. I went to that show, and I met most of the band at the Ritz-Carlton. And I was there with two other guys. I was in the mortgage lending business at the time, and so we were all together, and I picked up the tab for the band, which was a big mistake. Because they were drinking really expensive scotch. I didn't put two and two together at the time, but that was fine. I picked up the tab, and then one of us made a bet with Mike Hossack, and it just got silly. We started talking about what state had produced the most beef cattle. I don't know where that conversation came up, but Mike invited us up to his room, and we spent 2 hours searching on the internet trying to solve the mystery, and we never did. So that's what we did the night after the Van Weasel concert with Mike Hossack.
Funny. I must have missed that.
Yeah. How's Mike doing?
He's doing good. He's not on the road with us, but he should be back.
Is he going to be at the Orlando show?
No.
Oh, he's not, huh?
No.
But he still tours with you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have 3 children, right?
I'm sorry, my wife's asked me something. Do I have 3 children? Yes, I do. Yeah.
And how old are they?
My daughter's 27. My middle son is 25, and my youngest is 21.
Now, do they all ride bikes as well?
No.
They don't. I would have thought for Christmas each one of them would have gotten a Harley.
No. None of them into that at all.
Really? But now you met your wife out in Sturgis, is that right?
That's correct.
And she got involved in some like cross country racing, right? And I guess you were helping her or.
Last year she did a ride from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina to where did we end up? Santa Monica, California. On a 1915 Harley.
Wow.
It was a race for 95-year and older bikes.
Man. Huh.
She had one of the newer ones, 95 years old.
Was there a lot of maintenance involved trying to get that thing up and running for the event, or?
Definitely, yeah, a lot of preparation, and then once we got it going, we had to maintain it throughout the run. 16 days. It was, pretty much wrenching on it every day. We had the adjustments and things would break. We'd have to fix them.
Yep. Now, did you follow her during the race, or how did that work?
I was on the run. I was part of the support crew.
Right. In more ways than one.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool. It was, really a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. It's never been done since 1915.
Yeah.
That bike saddles have gone across country, and then nobody's come up with another one. So they are doing another run, but it's for 1929 and earlier. So most of the people are running 20s era bikes on this run coming up.
Now, does she do this pretty often? Is that?
No, just a one-off deal.
Right. But you guys ride around a lot. Do you do like cross country?
We do ride a lot, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, that sounds like a lot of fun. I've always wanted to do that and never had been able to do that. I always got into sports cars,
Yeah, that could be fun too.
And there's a lot of bikers down here in Florida. It's a perfect place,
Absolutely, yeah. This is Mecca for motorcyclists, I know.
Unfortunately, in this area, there's a lot of accidents because there's a lot of old people, and they just run right into you, man.
Yeah, that happens everywhere. It's, not getting any easier out there on the highway.
Yeah. What do you think about the no helmet law in certain states?
You mean forcing riders to ride with helmets?
Well, yeah, that or choosing not to wear a helmet. What do you think about that?
Well, I've always been one of those people that likes to let the individual decide.
Right.
That being said, I recommend people wear a helmet when they ride. I've been down a few times, and I have friends that are still here because they were wearing a helmet. So there is evidence there that it can save your life.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. It only takes one time, man, and that bike is heavy.
It's not the bike. It doesn't really matter how much the bike weighs. It's your head hitting the pavement. The true test, and unfortunately, most times people go down at 40 or 50 miles an hour, and that's not even going fast.
Right.
A lot of people are driving 70 and 75. You hit that pavement with your head, and pretty much over.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you hit it with a helmet, you could, slide along the road and you can live. So.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a few friends of mine that have taken big, pretty bad spills, and it's no fun. I mean, it's got to hurt.
When I was younger, I was always one of those guys in California. We didn't have a helmet law. I never wore a helmet. By the grace of God, nothing ever happened to me. But I got to say that since then, I've had several friends that have been down and having a helmet on saved their lives. So I kind of believe it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Gary Busey kind of changed a lot of people's attitudes also.
Well, Gary Busey's was hot dogging around. He drove his bike out of the Harley shop across the street, jumped his bike, and hit his head. That's how dumb he is.
Really? I didn't hear that one.
That is exactly how it happened, because I had a friend that was standing there. He rode his bike out of the shop from some maintenance or something.
Right.
Pulling out of the shop, jumped his bike, didn't even get down the road, just got across the street going the other way, and fell down and hit his head.
Wow.
So, hello, learn to ride a motorcycle before you get out there and start
Yeah, exactly.
driving it around.
I know this is probably a dumb question, but why is Harley the bike of choice? And I'm just coming out of it from a novice. I've been on a Harley, and it's a very heavy bike. Why wouldn't you choose a lighter bike?
Well, I don't think it is the bike of choice. I think it is one of many choices.
Right.
Right? I mean, it just happens to be the one a lot of people like. There's a lot to be said for a substantial amount of weight underneath you when you're going down the road. If you want to stop, or you gotta, there's some kind of emergency turn you gotta make or something. Having the weight on the road is a lot more stable than a lot of the lighter bikes, which tend to not want to stop as easily when you have to hit the brake.
That's true.
They don't have the weight to hold the road. In terms of movement and so on, some of the smaller bikes certainly have a lot to be said for them, and manipulation and stuff. But if you're just kind of out and you're here's another thing: if you're going for a long distance ride, it's a lot more comfortable on a larger bike. You got room to stretch out a little bit. You're in a position where you're more comfortable.
Yep.
The smaller bikes, a lot of times they have more like cafe type handlebars and so on, so you're bent forward. Over a long period of time, if you're going a long ride, that can be tough on your back. To be bent forward like that, it's nice to be able to kind of sit up straight or back a little bit. That's more comfortable for a long ride.
Right.
What else? Lower revving. The smaller bikes have a higher rev pattern, so that the actual sound that's coming out of the bike over a long period of time is a little more fatiguing in itself, which sound, believe it or not, can be fatiguing. So having a little lower rev is more comfortable to your ear and to the feel of the bike. It doesn't have as much vibration.
Right.
Once again, larger bikes don't have that vibration factor quite as much as a rubber-mounted engine, although most of them are rubber-mounted these days. But, there's a lot to be said for that comfort thing.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go cross country on a race bike or anything like that.
Yeah, you can pack a little more if you gotta. That's another thing about a larger bike is they usually have room for saddlebags or some kind of a trunk or even pull in a trailer, and you can.
Right.
There's that to be said for when you're going long distance. I think a lot of the reason people ride a Harley is there's a mystique to Harley that has been passed on through the years, and a lot of people like that.
Do you have a nice collection of bikes?
I got a few bikes.
Yeah.
Mostly I ride one bike.
Right.
I got an FLH that I ride that's kind of my main ride.
Yep. Yeah, I bet you guys have ran into some pretty tough characters over the years, huh?
One or two.
I ran into a guy here in Florida. He belonged to a gang. I want to say the Pagans or something like that, And he had a vest on, and on the back of his vest it said the Enforcer, and he had a bunch of tombstones on the back of it, and the people that have died, it said R.I.P. on each tombstone. It had each person's name on it. I didn't really have the nerve to ask him what the significance was of the tombstones, But
I suspect those are members.
Members that have died maybe on the road or something like that?
Nobody ever lets, nobody's going to go, here's the guys I've killed.
Yeah.
Sure, it's going to be former members.
Right.
They're He's commemorated.
Yeah, yeah. I run into a few guys like that here down in Florida. I mean, nice guys. You know, most of them are pretty decent guys. I'm sure there's a few out there that, you know, have a bad reputation just like everybody else, you know. But
people are people. You know?
Yep. Exactly. I remember, you know, the George Harrison did the Material World special. I guess it was on HBO and a few things. I don't know if you saw that recently, but he invited. I guess
I did see it.
Did you see it? Did you see him about the Hells Angels when he invited them over to Abbey Road and they showed up and they?
Yeah, sure.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great.
They wouldn't leave, and then George had to go over there and say, "Okay, you're here. I guess it's time for you guys to go."
Yeah. Funny.
So you grew up in a household with two teachers, huh?
Yep. Yeah, my parents are both taught school.
What was that like? My daughter's a teacher. She's an English teacher, so I can identify, but kind of. But
it was great. My parents were good folks, and had a nice childhood growing up.
Were they a little tough on you being teachers in school, or were they just, you know?
No. I did, you know, I did pretty well in school, and
Right.
I liked school, so, you know, there was no adversarial thing going on there at all, really.
Right. And then when did you start playing the guitar?
When I was 8 years old.
Now, did you learn to read music right away, or were you playing by ear?
No, playing by ear.
Playing by ear? You know, it's amazing how many guys I talk to that still don't read music, and they're, you know, excellent guitar players. One guy that comes to mind is Ronnie Montrose, you know? And I find that amazing how you can just, you know, play so well by ear, you know? I guess you have the gift.
You know, I think I won't say most, but a good many guitar players have taken lessons and learned to read music, but when you're playing, you know, modern music or music that you've written or that others have written that you've worked to put the arrangement together, you don't need to read. You know, you hear it and you feel it and you understand what's going on without having to look at the notes.
Right.
The notes are before you on the fingerboard, so you know, we all know kind of relatively what the notes are that we're playing.
Right.
They're just not written out, so in a sense, you're reading in a different way. You're still, you know what I mean? You're not reading tablature or you know, the notes themselves, but you know what they are. You know ultimately to what you're doing. So
I play some guitar. I recently sold a 73 Fender Telecaster because I wrote a book and I needed money for editing costs. I hated to see it go, but, you know, if you're going to choose between the guitar and writing a book, I guess you have to choose the book. You can always buy another guitar, I guess, you know.
Right.
But the, you know, I took lessons as a kid, and then, you know, I did a lot of picking up things by ear, but not as good at, you know, nowhere close to the magnitude of you guys, of course. But then I started taking lessons, and it got kind of serious with some of the what he was teaching me. You know, all these different. I mean, I didn't realize there were so many bar chords out there. But it turned into mathematics, man. You know, and it wasn't enjoyable anymore. You know, you know.
Yeah, that's not the way to approach it, I don't think.
Yeah. This guy was just way too serious with me, and, you know, he wanted me to learn and all these different variations, different chords, and things like that. I said, nah. I just want to play, man. Just, you know, just teach me how to play comfortably numb. You know. You know. So
the best way to teach is to pick out a song that you like and to learn how to play that song.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, the Doobie Brothers have had an unbelievable staying power, especially the way the music business has been over the years. And, you know, you guys have gone through, you know, a lot of personnel changes like everybody else, you know, and you guys are still standing tall, man. It's amazing. I mean, what do you attribute your staying power to? Do you think, just being on the road a lot helped out a lot, or what do you think?
I think, we're fortunate more than anything. I don't know. I wish I knew a formula I could tell everybody. I don't think there is. I think,
right.
We've been kept alive by the music as much as anything. We've been able to continually create, and I think that has something to do with a certain aspect of the enjoyment, being able to come up with new music, and that's enjoyable. I think that kind of keeps the juices flowing, and then we have a lot of great songs that we've written through the years that I can say that because I haven't written them all, but I've written some of them. But I'm a fan of the other writers in this band, so
right.
I really appreciate the fact that we have some good songs to play that are fun to play, and you don't really get tired of playing them because we have that connection with the audience that makes the songs new and brings them back to life every night, so I think that is part of it, and that we just have an audience out there still, which is gotta give credit to the audience for hanging with us all this time,
right,
appreciating the music. So it's a combination of things, I think, but again, part of it is luck, I think. Fortune plays a role there. You could being in the right place at the right time. We just been lucky that way, and I don't take it for granted. I really every day give. I'm grateful.
Right. I think a pivotal moment was when Tom was sick, and he had to leave the band, I guess, and then at the time when Jeff came in, Jeff Skunk Baxter, which he's an amazing musician. I mean, I've always admired him and everything he's done. But then when you brought in Michael McDonald, and that period, when Minute by Minute that album came out, that was a tough period because I was on the air. I was a DJ back then. I was playing your music, and what a fool believe, man! I wore that record out. I mean, that was a time during the disco period was really pretty strong, and most of the stuff I was playing, Anita Bell, Peaches and Herb, and all that stuff was around, and here comes the Doobie Brothers, still rocking and rolling. So that was for you guys to have that presence at that time. I thought was pretty special because it was tough for rock and roll back then.
Yeah, we made it through the disco era. That says a lot right there.
It does. It really does. Even Kiss went a little disco back then. They had no choice.
And we never did that.
No, you can't stoop that low.
Yeah, there was a lot of good music back then.
Yeah.
I think that people see that through, a filter or a lens of what was going on, because there was a certain trend going on with, bass drum playing everything on the one, on the quarter notes, that it sort of, it colored the way that things came down, but really, there was a lot of great music back then, regardless. I mean, the Bee Gees.
Yep. And then New Wave came in right after that, and then we got into Blondie and the Cars, and that was all good stuff.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. And,
oh yeah.
That kind of stuff. To me, that is great music that will live forever. So
yep.
You can't really say that it was a bad era, although everybody kind of jokes about it, and like it was, because there was a lot of weird, corny music back then. But there's a lot of weird, corny music right now. So
true.
same thing. There's always been funny, goofy stuff that you wonder how it ever, who's the audience for it, and then there's more profound music that that lives in your heart, and you sort of hold to that, but then later on, the corny music sort of has an endearing factor that sort of makes it live in your heart as well. So I think it all, it's all part of one fabric of music that for every generation, that music is meaningful in different ways, but it's all meaningful, as far as being a part of your, the soundtrack of people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of people today that, you mentioned disco music, and they light up,
Sure.
Great times, man. We had a great time, going to the clubs and this and that.
It was their era,
Yeah, it was their era, right?
It was my era.
Yeah, well, I was on the air during the disco time.
And it was your era.
Yeah, I was a DJ, so I was part of all that stuff. And I did hit some of the clubs. I was a rock and roller from day one. I mean, in high school, I'd skip school just to buy concert tickets and stuff like that. But I was sucked into that, because that's where the girls were.
Hey, Ray, I'm getting the signal here. I got to go do something.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
It's been fun talking to you.
Yeah, me too. And I'm looking forward to the concert on Sunday.
Any other quick questions that I can answer real fast?
Let's see, real quick. I just want to say, Blackwater, and I love your style of writing and singing, and you hate to differentiate anybody in the band, but you are my favorite Doobie Brother, and you always have been.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, because I've always loved your style, and in my two favorite songs, is Black Waters is the big one, but the tune is such an alluring tune, and it doesn't matter what part of the world you're living in. There's something about that song that appeals to everyone. What kind of inspired you to write Black Water?
Probably my experiences traveling in the South.
Right.
And that kind of music really is a lot of my roots are in country blues and stuff, ragtime, fingerstyle guitar, a little bit of country, a little bit of jazz.
Right.
So
Sure.
that kind of has little bits of all that stuff. And I really kind of wrote the song. I mean, the lyrical content of it is really about New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Being on the Mississippi River and kind of that sort of lifestyle, and then the just being in New Orleans. I wrote a lot of lyrics while I was down there.
Huh.
Riding the streetcar and hanging out in the French Quarter and
Right.
Jazz bars.
Did you go down there after Katrina?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I go down. I was just there actually last few days ago, so I go down there quite often.
Oh, okay.
And hang out a lot. So.
Yeah.
One of my favorite towns, period. Love it down there. I like the people, like the
Right.
city, the lifestyle. So it's someplace I always like to go. So
Mm-hmm.
that basic song's kind of this, the commemoration of that city more than anything.
Right. The other favorite tune of mine is "Clear as the Driven Snow." That's an unbelievable song. I've always loved that song, and to me that defines the Doobie Brothers. I know the China Grove and everything else, Long Train Running, but that's where my mind is. It's more towards your philosophy, I guess, of the band.
Thanks. That was kind of a song about the kind of drug culture in a certain sense. In the early 70s, I
Right.
was trying to let go of it, and that's kind of what that song is a little bit related to that,
that's a great piece.
Thank you.
And I know you got to go. I just want to let you know, World Gone Crazy is a wonderful album.
Well, thank you.
Very, very good album. And of course, you know, well produced because Ted's back in the studio with you, and I know Ted, you know, about Ted as well because he did, you know, Ronnie Montrose's first album as well, produced that album. And are you still there? Crap. Lost. Pat?
I lost you there, sir.
That's okay. No problem. I was just mentioning that Ted Templeman, he also did, you know, Ronnie Montrose's first album,
Right.
as well, and he's done so many things out there. He's probably an underrated guy. You know, he's like a Todd Rundgren in the studio, and I'm sure it was nice to have him back, huh?
Absolutely. He was pretty much retired. He has been retired for quite a long time, so
Right.
that was pretty special having him back in the studio with us. Chris person, and really talented, super talented.
Well, the album is wonderful. It's you know, very polished. It's got some great tunes on there, and
It's very nice of you, Ray. We really enjoyed doing it. I mean, it's a labor of love. Every time you do a record, that's really what it is. So it's something you just enjoy the heck out of. You know?
right. Last question: Do you any collaborations? I know you mentioned something about Willie Nelson. I know he did a track on the last album, and Michael McDonald also did a track on the last album. What do you see yourself doing?
Ted and I are still collaborating.
Okay.
We wrote 3 songs together on this record, and we're still doing some writing together right now.
Right.
And Willie and I, I'm sure, will collaborate on some more stuff.
That's pretty cool.
I do write things with my wife. I have some friends in Maui that I write with here and there. I don't know. You know, we'll see.
You're such a talented guy, man. I could see you collaborating with so many other artists. You know, it's such a great mix. You know.
I talked to David Crosby last time I saw him and talked to him about working on something. I'd love to work on a song with him.
Oh, that'd be great.
And, I've always liked his style, and we'll see what happens with that.
Yep. I could see you with somebody like Bonnie Raitt too. You know.
Yeah, Bonnie, she's just super talent.
Yep. And you know, being from the D.C. area, she was famous in D.C. before she got famous.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, Pat, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Ray. Nice talking to you.
Good talking to you too, man. And we'll see you at the show on Sunday.
I look forward to it.
All right, take care, man.
Pat me on the shoulder if you see me, will you?
I sure will. Are you riding your bike to the show?
No.
Oh, darn it. That would have been a good story.
There you go.
Take care, man.
Take care. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining, and please subscribe to Ray's YouTube channel.